Yes guys, how's it going? And welcome back to a new video, the second video this evening where I'll be sitting here in the sun talking about Newcastle United. And that is because not only is it lovely and sunny, not only are we the closest we've been to signing James Maddison, go and check out my video I did earlier on, but Newcastle United have now made their first signing of the summer. That's right. As announced by Newcastle this evening at 6 p.m, we have now signed Yankuba Minteh, the 18-year-old Gambian winger who we have been linked with throughout some of this summer. Was announced, well, to be honest, about 10 minutes after I uploaded my video earlier on. So I could have maybe done with this announcement 15 minutes sooner in Newcastle, but it means I can sit here in the sun and talk to you guys that little bit more about Newcastle United. So it is exciting news. We have gone out, we have brought in our first player of the window for a reported £7 to £8 million for an 18-year-old. Is that too much, is it? Or is it just right? He is in high regard and has been monitored by a whole host of teams. And look, Dan Ashworth is out doing what he does. You watch Brighton and some of the youngsters they've got coming through, number 42, 45, come on, replace the regulars, and they're just as good. Now, the hope is that Minteh will potentially go away, get a bit of game time, come back, could be worth 40, 50 million in a few years' time, and that is what Dan Ashworth does, and that is what we have done in this transfer. We've gone out, we've signed what some people are calling the mini Messi. He's left-footed, he's quick, he's skillful, he's about a foot taller than Messi, but it's not a bad comparison to receive. And Newcastle are pretty organised with this one. As I've mentioned, he currently plays over in OB in the Danish league. He put together 17 senior appearances for them this season. Really his breakthrough season, and Newcastle have already jumped in and picked him up. But as I say, they are organised with it because despite joining Newcastle, he will actually head straight off on the 1st of July to the Netherlands. He will join Feyenoord, also in the Champions League this season, so who knows? I actually know if he's on loan, we'll have a little clause in there that says if we do get Feyenoord, that presumably he won't be allowed to play against us. But we've spoken quite a lot on loan deals and where's the best place for players to go and where will they get the most experience. We've seen Kowal go out to Hearts and it hasn't worked, and as I've said, I've spoken about Yankuba Minteh a few times on this channel about going out, bringing in the young player. I actually said if we got him in quickly this summer window, could we give him some game time? Could we actually give him a shot to see whether even at the young age of 18 and a bit of a jump, you know, from the Danish league over to the Premier League, especially when we are really going to be fighting for the top spots and in Champions League this season. But who knows, maybe he could have impressed. But it looks like Newcastle have gone ahead and decided from the outset that that will not be the case and that he will be going out on loan. I do, however, like the fact that we've been organised with it. You know, we haven't brought him in and gone, yeah, stick him in the under-21s for a bit, see how he does, and then we'll decide. No, it's been pretty well orchestrated, that they've already decided that he was coming in and already decided where his loan deal was going to be before it even got announced that he was in here. And that's what we want. You know, there's a reason we're bringing in the likes of, well, it's not really their job, but Darren Eales, Peter Silva, you know, they're over there in the background, you know. Dan Ashworth, the man who really is in charge of bringing these youngsters in, getting them into the right places. And Shola, you know, Shola is the loans manager. I'd be interested to know how much effect he had in this, of maybe talking to the player about where he would like to go and whether he was the one who was making dealings with Feyenoord on sending them over there. So we'll have to wait and see. But Newcastle did release their statement earlier on today. Dan Ashworth himself said that he is very pleased to be bringing a player with Yankuba's high potential to Newcastle. He's done extremely well in his first season in Denmark, and he has a promising career ahead of him. We look forward to working with him in this exciting phase of his development, and we are excited to see how he performs at Feyenoord, a club that has also a strong development record of its own. So yeah, that's actually a very good point there. I think the jump from the Danish league to the Premier League is a big one, but I still think, although, you know, the league over in the Netherlands isn't quite as competitive as ours. I still think there are some very good teams in there, and Feyenoord is one of them. So it'll be interesting to know what kind of deal and rules we've kind of made on that one. Will he have a minimum number of appearances? Will it be monitored throughout the season? If it isn't working out by January, can we rediscuss it? Because that's the thing that kind of happened with Kowal, was he was kind of sent there and Hearts never really used him. I suppose it's kind of up to Yankuba, Minteh to get in there, get amongst it and make a selection, you know, prove a selection. It wouldn't surprise me if potentially Feyenoord were one of the teams who were interested in him as well. You know, and we've kind of gone in there and gone, we've heard you've been sniffing around him, but we are the team that want to get him. We are the team that want to buy him. However, would you be interested in a loan? That wouldn't surprise me either. He went on to say that as well as supporting the first team with players for here and now, we want to invest in emerging talents and we want to provide a player pathway that will help to build a sustainable long-term success. Big up Dan Ashworth. I mean, he said exactly what I've kind of said in this video, and that is that, you know, we could potentially go out and spend a lot of money this summer. I think there will be certain players that will be on our radar that will cost a fair bit. But if you can go out there early on and bring players in like Yankuba, Minteh, which, as I say, at the age of 18 for 7-8 million, you know, I guess you have to take that small risk in the outset to hope for the big payoff. You know, if we didn't go out and we didn't spend on these young players, you know, we've had issues at Newcastle for quite some time with not a lot of youngsters really coming through. We're seeing it this season. We're talking about Longstaff being homegrown, Dummett being homegrown, Matty Longstaff being homegrown, who isn't even in the side. You know, Dan Burn, we let go of too soon. Mark Gillespie wasn't the same. So we've kind of had that for a little while, and if we're not going to, well, hopefully we are going to build the academies and we are going to start seeing more and more young Geordies come through. But one way to really help that is to, you know, replenish it with young, talented players from abroad as well. And yes, it's not quite the, you know, bringing them over here, or maybe a small fee of $500,000, you know, 7 or 8 million on a lad you are immediately loaning out. Is that just the way of football? I can't even tell what I think of that fee at the moment. The thing is, if he turns around and he's worth 50, 60, 70 in a few years' time, then that was a fantastic transfer. You know, and if he comes back after a year in Feyenoord, having played every single game and scoring 12, 15 goals, and he comes into the starting lineup and he's already worth 20, 30 million, you've got, oh my God, that was amazing. There is always the chance that he may not fulfill that potential. But as I've said, as a club now who's really trying to build, not just for this summer, not just for the Champions League, but for the next 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 years. 20 years he'll be 40, so he probably won't be playing then. But you know what I mean? It's trying to bring in players now. And yes, maybe take that little bit of a punt on a fee that is potentially a little bit high for a youngster. Or is it in this day and age? I say that like I'm a really old man. But in this kind of world of football now, what even is a low fee? I think everything is very, very expensive. But you let me know your thoughts down below on Yankuba, Minteh. I don't imagine loads of you guys have seen him. I'll be honest and say that I haven't seen a lot either. It was his real breakthrough season in the Danish league this year. So I think it's right that the Premier League was probably a jump slightly too far. And the season out on loan in a Champions League side isn't a bad one. So you let me know your thoughts on Yankuba, Minteh down in the comments below. If you have enjoyed the second upload of this evening, be sure to drop us a subscribe and a like. Go and check out my James Maddison video from earlier on. I did quite a cool one yesterday about the potential upcoming developments at St James's Park. So be sure to go and click on that as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.